Good morning. Today we're going to be working on the metric measuring conversion lab. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first lab we're going to do together, demo. And so my students in class are going to be viewing the same video that you are viewing so that we can get close up, see the numbers without having to get close up to each other. This is the metric measuring and conversion lab paper that you should have opened in your classroom, in your Google Classroom, or that you should have in front of you. If you choose to print out a page, that's fine. If not, work it the way you need to. So if you are online and you do the first measurement, the first thing that we are supposed to measure is the wire gauze. Now, with any luck, you've watched all of those videos and you know what a wire gauze is. So if I had a question for you, what would my question be? Which one of these is a wire gauze? Do you know what this one is? You should be saying that that is the ceramic triangle. This is for is heating up the crucible. This is our wire gauze. And in order to measure it, you want to make sure that your balance is balanced. You should have all of these weights on 0, every last one of them. You should have this line that's sticking out should be on 0. And as I'm looking at it, I don't think it is. Nope, that's a little below the 0. So what you can do if you come across that, when we actually get to work with these in person, is adjust. There's a little weight right here. And if you turn it one way, it adds more weight. And if you turn it the other way, it adds less weight. Anyway, you wiggle with it until that line is balanced. And that's pretty close. I'm going to do it just a touch more. See if I can't get it closer. One more. Okay, that's pretty close. Now, what you do have to watch for is when you put something on it, you want to make sure that it lines up the same way you have if it's very still. I have this propped up on some magazines so that I can get it at the same height for you to be able to see. Now, once you put something on the balance, also a triple beam balance. It's not a balance beam with this is not the Olympics. Okay. You want to start measuring. A lot of students will just start playing with this number, and something that I have seen happen over and over, students will move weights and they'll put these back weights somewhere halfway in between one of these notches. You can't measure that way. This balance is designed to measure one notch at a time. So you take the biggest weight, the one that has the 100 and 200 and 300 and 400 grams on it. Move it over once till it hits that notch. If that's below the line, then that's too much. So move it back. Then you move the tens over one notch at a time until it is too heavy. Once it's too heavy, you move it back one space. And the next weight that we move and the last weight that you move is this one. This moves 1/10 of a gram at a time. It moves 1 gram, 2 grams, 3 grams. So each time you move it over a number, that's a whole gram. If I only move it part way, it gives me part of a gram. It's a little hard to see that from the back side, but I think that should be just about level. So what I have here is now going to be the total number of all of the units that are on this scale. See if I can get that any closer where you can see what I was talking about. So what we have here, we don't have any hundreds. I have 0 hundreds. I do have in the back 30 grams in the back. So whatever number that is in the front, it's 30 plus that number that's in the front. So that's going to be 30. Hang on. Hard to read this upside down while holding a computer. Looks like just exactly 34 grams. So it's the 30 plus the 4 grams. If that number was in between one, then that would be our number. You'd have to add it together. So that's what we're doing with this lab, each individual item. Now, what do you do with that? If you are working on your computer, if you're working with a pencil, you just put that number right here. You put the grams there. Now it says convert to milligrams. That's where you're going to have to add that work down here in the bottom. I'm only going to show you number 1. So if you're working at home, open it with Cami.